Hello and welcome everyone. You have reached the Difference Makers at Difference Makers Media, and I'm Lynn Sanders, your strategic story coach and host for today. I'm very excited to have you join us. I want to thank you for taking time from your busy schedule. It's Labor Day weekend, and it's a time for contemplation as well as relaxation. So today we're going to have a perfect guest to join us and help us achieve our goals. That guest is Nathan Amaral. And Nathan is the creator of the Fearless Millionaire Freedom Formula, which is a step-by-step system in attracting wealth and creating freedom in an amazingly short period of time. Nathan has achieved a decades-long track record in achieving success for himself and also helping clients all over the world. He is an entrepreneur, an author, and an executive sales coach. And today we're lucky enough to learn some of his success steps, as well as be able to receive a free gift from him, which we'll be announcing towards the end of the show. So now I would like to welcome Nathan. And Nathan, please let us know where you are hanging out from today.
Hi, Lynn. Thanks so much for having me. Well, today I'm down at the lake in Lake Wiley. It's in between North and South Carolina. It actually sits right in the middle of both states. So I love it here by the lake. So we're going to be heading out here in about an hour or so. Going to spend the day on the lake, head down to the sandbar, just have a good time, enjoy the holiday weekend.
It sounds so great. I think it sounds like something most people would also enjoy being able to do at any time of the day, not necessarily over a holiday. And
absolutely.
You said you're going to be speaking today about how we can overcome our fears to achieve success. And I think we all face fear. So I wanted to first start out with asking you a little bit about your background. And have you always been the fearless millionaire?
Oh, no, not at all, actually.
It wasn't something you inherited.
No, yeah, it was something, it was a life skill. And, actually, no, not at all. And actually, the Fearless Millionaire Freedom Formula was actually created through helping people. That was actually how it started, was just simply helping people on a regular basis. And it just happened by accident, actually. And my main intent was to help people overcome their fear, getting started in business, and grow their business to a whole nother level. And the unique thing about it was I always started with the message of becoming fearless, because deep in my life, starting out, I was very, very scared. I was nervous. I was constantly scared. I mean, I was afraid to show up to my own birthday party sometimes. And I remember this one time where I was, I think, about like maybe 12 years old, and there was a big surprise birthday party happening at my house that my folks were throwing for me. And when everyone showed up, I was the surprise guest, so I didn't know what was going on. But when I showed up, everyone's like, surprise! Well, I ended up spending at least 20 minutes of that time behind a chair in the party section, and then the rest of the time upstairs in my room. And while everyone else was eating my birthday cake and opening my gifts or whatever, I actually didn't want to. And most of the time, I was actually just sharing this with my wife the other day, is most of the time, actually, even at walking in a store or going somewhere, I spent most of the time right near my mom. I was very shy, very scared, and didn't really do anything. It wasn't until I had a tragic accident in my life that really changed everything. And it was a serious car accident where I slammed into a cement pillar that held a highway, and the car was so totaled that I walked away. I mean, my head went through the windshield, and they had to pull me out of the other side of the door. Anyway, so I remember sitting inside the hospital, and they were the EMTs and the doctors were saying, "We can't believe you're alive. We don't know how you're making it. You're obviously here for a reason." And that just stood out in my mind. I was like, yeah, okay, great. Well, to summarize, months later, about a year later, I was introduced, within a few days after that, I was actually introduced to Tony Robbins' audio CD called Unlimited Power. And, speed that up a year, I ended up walking on fire about a year later. And that, completely doing that, changed my life. So it was going from a place from fear to faith. And so when I say it happened accidentally, it was because I just had a heart and a desire to help people. I just had a heart and a desire to help people with their business. And I did have some skill set, you know, a business degree, started a bunch of businesses, failed a bunch of times, and I just kept doing it and getting success. Well, what happened and what turned that into the Fearless Millionaire program and how those words came together was simply this, was the concept of going from fear to faith and building a business. And also, some of my clients were making, you know, some were, you know, making 6-figure, 7-figure incomes from the strategies that we implemented, you know, and that's how it came together. So it just, and then I ended up launching it about a few years ago, and now it's you know, a lot of people are, much more of the population's catching on to this concept. So,
wow, that's very powerful. You really had a complete turnaround, it sounds like. Well, when you walked on fire, can you tell us a little bit more about just that sensation and how did that moment change your life? You mentioned it changed your life. What happened? What went through your mind?
yeah, sure. Well, you know, I think a common thought for anybody's mind is going to be, am I really going to do this right now? You know, is this really happening? Am I really going to take this step and do this? Oh, we got the motorcycle crew showing up now, and
oh boy.
So it was like, I walk on fire, like, and it was hot. It wasn't like, you know, coal, burning, you know, shards of coal or anything like that, and it was all, no, it was like fire, hot. You know, literally, I could feel the heat coming off of on the fire on the ground, and it was hot, and I was just like, wow, this is pretty intense. Am I going to do this again? I kept thinking of that. So,
and what made you do it?
Process that Tony.
Yeah.
What made me want to do it?
Yes.
Is that what?
Yes,
made me
I'd like to know what
made
you want to.
I needed the breakthrough. I knew the core philosophy of that. If you don't face your fear, and I mean facing your fear doesn't mean that you actually become fearless. No, fear never leaves. It's with us always. But there's two key elements to dealing or handling fear, and that's either fight or flight. That means the flight means you take off and you go the other way, or you approach it and you face it. You know, you shouldn't. The way to handle fear is to dance with it, as some people have said. You know, I've heard, is dancing with fear. Imagine yourself waltzing with fear. You know, just waltzing around, and you're holding it close, and you're managing it, and you are walking through and breaking through that fear. You use that fear emotion as a tool to help you achieve what you want. And so the reason why I was walking on fire was because I needed to have a pattern interrupt. I need to have something interrupt my habitual pattern of shy, of not doing anything, of literally just saying, hey, I need to stop this pattern of, you know, of not taking action. And this was it for me. This was that pattern. This was that pattern. So that's what it did it for me. I walked on the fire. After I walked on fire, forget it. Then I was like riding roller coasters, jumping out of airplanes, bungee jumping. I mean, just a bunch of stuff.
Wow. And having fear each time, but dancing with it, as you said.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're going to have fear. I mean, even to this day, I mean, speaking to, you know, 10 people or whether, you know, 1,000 people, you have fear every time, but you manage it and you harness that fear and you use it as a tool to help you overcome, to move forward and do it. Because here's the truth behind it, Lynn, is if you're not feeling that fear, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. That basically what you're saying is there's a higher reason for you to feel that fear. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
For you to push past your comfort zone. And most people would think naturally you want to avoid fear in order to grow. That's what you're saying.
Of course, yeah. I mean, naturally, right? People want to like avoid risks or situations and being in a place of, you know, being uncertain. But sometimes those moments are what helps you grow. It's those moments that actually help you launch your life to the next level. Get your like going to the gym, it stretches your muscles and it builds them up. That's the same thing. You're stretching yourself.
Right, right. Well, share with us some of your steps. You know, I know that attitude is a great factor in this and overcoming fears. Can you share some of the success steps or belief systems that people need to have in order to overcome fears?
Yeah, well, I would say the first, most important one is having a clear-cut vision of
You're,
a clear-cut vision of what you're going for. Once you have that clear-cut vision of what you're trying to do, you can easily set goals around it. And I think a vision board is a powerful tool to have, a vision board in your life. This way you can see it every day. You can ask yourself this question, and you're going to want to write this down. The question is, what can I do today to get myself one step closer to my goal?
what can I do today to get myself one step closer to my goal? So how many goals would you recommend people write down? Can
This
you
is what
hear
I
me
recommend.
over there?
I recommend people have about 10 goals written. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend people have about 10 goals written down.
Okay.
Yep, you got to have at least 10 goals written down.
And then they're going to study those goals every day. And how do they move on to the next step beyond the goals?
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah,
that one up.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
That's all right. So when it comes to your 10 goals, what you want to do is write them down, post them in a place you can see them, and I'll actually teach you a strategy that I've used over the years. And when you have your written out, you want to either put them by the year, set them out by the year, and this way you track yourself. You can track it every month, every week, and every day. And what you can do with that is you can say, what am I doing today to get myself one step closer to my goal? What am I doing today to get myself one step closer to this goal? And when you ask yourself that, a lot of great things will happen. A lot of great things. You will get results. Things will happen. Things will take place. Opportunities will manifest themselves. But here's the strategy that I want to share with you that has worked for me time and time again. It's pretty much the number one thing that helps you achieve your goals even faster than anything you've ever tried out there. And it goes like this. Have you ever experienced this before when you do something for someone and say, oh, thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you so much. What can I do for you?
Yes. Yes, so I
Yeah.
definitely. We do a lot of volunteer work here, so definitely I've experienced that giving.
Okay.
And you get back
great. And
a lot.
Have you ever? Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever said or responded this way before? Oh no, it's okay. I would do this for free. You ever responded that way before?
Yes. I said, oh, it's nothing. No worries.
Absolutely. Well, here I'm going to give you a strategy that you can use, and anyone in your audience and your followers can use.
I have my pen ready.
Yeah, sure. You can use this because when you use this strategy, it will help you achieve that list even faster than ever before. So here's how it goes. You have that situation. You're in your business. You're doing stuff for people, helping them out, and then what you do from that point is when someone asks you, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Lynn. What can I do for you?" And you say, "Well, I have something for you that I'd like to send you." And you want to send them basically these two things: your top 10 list of goals, right?
Okay.
Okay, and that's you can start with that. Another thing I do is I send my vision board. I take a picture of it, so you can actually send a picture of your vision board if you want to. Normally, I send one of two things. So as long as you're sending, in this case, you're sending at least your top 10 list of goals to this person. Say, listen, I appreciate what you're wanting to do and help me out. However, allow me to send this to you, and then if there's something on that list, either you or someone you know may be able to help me with one of my goals. How does that sound? Does that sound good?
That is great. Will you say that again, Nathan? If there's something, will you repeat it again?
Sure, yeah. It goes that when you see my list, when I send it to you, if there's something on there that you or someone you know can help me achieve from that list, that would be more than enough to help me, with giving back to me.
Great. So what happens if you obviously you've done that? What happens when you do that?
Oh, you'll be surprised. Now you take your top 10 goals for the year, right? You're taking your top 10 goals. Because I write goals out, and I teach people to write goals out for, the year. So 2014, 2015, 2016. Write down your top 10s, your biggest goals that you want to achieve that year. Well, what happens is you never know how that goal is going to be achieved. You never know if it's going to be you that's going to achieve it on your own. But when you use other people, what's happening is you're leveraging other people to help you achieve those goals, and that's how actually it helps a lot faster. So as you're going about doing your business, whether you're just starting to help a client or you're helping a friend in the industry, they're going to ask you, they say, well, what can I do for you? It's almost like a natural tendency, and that right there is the response you're going to get is someone's going to help you with one of your goals, or they're going to point you into someone or make a connection for you, and it's pretty powerful, very powerful.
That's really a great tip. I think that also plays on the fact that being aware that we're not always in control, that there's a higher power, there's a universe out there that's listening to our needs and desires, and if we put it out there, there's a law of attraction that I've been aware of that allows things to come to us when we bring it out. Can you be more address that, the spiritual laws that come into effect when you put out goals?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the law, when it ties around the law of attraction, what you think about, what you're thinking about, you bring about. But naturally, there is a gland inside of your brain, in your mind, brain area. I don't know where it is exactly. I just know it's there. So if I was to point to a certain part of my head, I'd probably be wrong. But I know it's there, and it works like this. It's called the reticular activating system. It's called the RAS. And for RAS for short. And the RAS, what it does, its sole purpose, just like the lungs are designed and only made to breathe and bring oxygen. This gland, what it does, its sole purpose is to find and identify exactly what you want. Exactly. Now, if you're thinking about I've heard some people say about this that, oh, I always have problems. I'm always running into, everything always bad happens to me. The reality is that you can dictate and tell this gland what to do. You can tell it what to look for and what not to look for. So the whole concept of, oh, I must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed and all that stuff. I don't know if you ever heard this before. Oh, but make sure you put your right foot down first before your left foot down when you get out of bed. I've heard all kinds of crazy stuff. But the reality is that part doesn't matter. What matters is how you control that gland and you tell it what to look for. When you tell it what to look for, it works. And this so let me give you a real life example that just happened literally 2 days ago.
Great.
Or yesterday was I was working with a team, and we set up some vision boards, and one of the vision boards for this person was a really nice $90,000 Maserati, okay? The funny thing was, it was silver, it was like specific, and he printed it out on color paper, and it was so specific. Well, the amazing thing, he's like, I've never seen one before. He's like, I've never even seen this car, but I know I want it. I've only seen it like on magazines, DuPont Registry or something like that, a really nice, expensive car magazines. Well, lo and behold, no joke, this was last week, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, he told me, he said, I just saw the same exact car on my vision board for the first time today.
Really? Really?
Yep, exactly. So I'm sure you've probably, or people listening, I'm sure they've experienced this before, where they have an example as like a car as an example, is you have a desired car and you start seeing it everywhere. You start seeing it pop up everywhere. It's almost like bound to be yours because it's popping up everywhere. And that's exactly how it works. Its sole purpose is to find exactly what you want and bring it to your attention so you can go and get it.
Okay, so you're saying not only put your goals out, but to be as detailed as possible and put it out on your vision board so that you can bring it to you.
Absolutely.
And put that out to the universe and to everyone you know that these are the goals you're looking for. Those are really good tips. What about the attitude of gratefulness? I've read and heard how important it is to approach every day with gratitude. Can you address that, and how does that play in your program?
I think gratitude is the number one avenue to immediate wealth. When someone comes to me and saying, "Hey, I need to make more money," I get that question a lot. I need to make more money. How do I make more money? When I'm at seminars and stuff, and the number one thing I start with first is gratitude, because gratitude brings immediate wealth. Immediate. When you are grateful for, and the hard part about gratitude is actually looking around at what you do have. That's the hardest part. Most people think they never have enough. There's a lot of people who feel that way, and they don't, especially the people that I'm referring to, who feel like, oh, I need to make more money, I need to do stuff, I need, to grow my income. And the reality is that in order to create immediate wealth in your life, whether it's immediate wealth in your relationships, your finances, your spiritual life, is immediately think about everything you're grateful for. And I'll share a short story with you.
Please.
Coming up as a young little guy with my family, I'll never forget the first exercise I ever did for gratitude was we would sit down every night, literally, and I bet you we only, out of the whole year, we probably only skipped this 5 times. We only missed 5 nights, literally. But every night for about a year, I believe it was, we would write down the top 10 things we were grateful for and my family. So we'd do this every night. And on the first week or two, it was simple. I mean, it was easy. It was like, oh, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for the food. I'm grateful. And it just got but here's where it got to a deeper understanding that affected the rest of my life.
Okay.
Was this. By week 3 or 4, I was starting to be grateful for the screws that held in the electrical sockets in the wall.
Whoa.
Because it got to the point where you're trying to think of what else can I be grateful for? You're trying to think of all the things. I'm grateful for my socks. I'm grateful for my shoes that I can walk in. I'm grateful for my shirt, or the immediate things that you can think of that are around you. You start thinking of. I'm thankful for my hockey equipment. I'm thankful for my ice skates, at that time. And you start thinking of all the things that you have. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I'm alive. You start going through all these things. But that only lasts maybe about 2 or 3 weeks after you start writing down 10 a day. So what ends up happening to your mind is you start thinking even deeper and more focused, and actually the little things, and that's when the wealth shows up, is when you start being grateful for the little things that some people in this world don't even have. They don't even have the amount of items or powerful relationships, whatever it is, whether it's spiritual, monetary. But when you look at what you do have, that alone will change your life. That's a quote called immediate wealth right there.
Wow. Well, Nathan, I know you speak from a well of experience, deep experience, because you've also founded a nonprofit that I wanted to address, the Fearless Education Foundation, where you've been helping children be able to have an education in Uganda. So I'd like you to give us some, examples of why why did you start this foundation, and what is it like for children in Uganda, and why is it important? This is something I think everyone would be benefiting from hearing about.
Sure, absolutely. Well, when it comes to why it started, I actually founded the foundation about in 2012, and it just came from a connection that I have. My wife, who's originally from Uganda, and it just came from the power of education. I've always been a big believer in education, and what's so powerful about education is that when you educate one person, that one person can, a child can educate a family. That child can affect a family, can affect a town, can affect a community, can affect a state, a city, and a whole country. And that's what's so important about education. The thing about Uganda is that, and why that's close to my heart, is not only from my wife's connection and I, but also that the average child in Uganda can't afford to go to school. There's not a funding. There is, in the United States and some other countries, for first world, second world countries, the funding to go to school is there and it's available. No matter, so of course, some states and countries have better education than others, but we're talking to the point of where teachers sometimes don't even show up because they're not even paid. So, you know, and kids don't have books or pens or pencils or nothing, you know, and if the teacher is there in a public school, which is free, then maybe, you know, maybe there's some decent education. Well, the reality is what we do is we cover tuition fees. We put children in a school that's really a really great school. It's probably one of the best in the country, but it's not the most expensive in the country. Okay. But here's what's so powerful about this foundation, because a lot of organizations, what they'll do is you will sponsor a child, whether it's, you know, they'll give some of that money for their food, their health, their medicine, and stuff like that. We actually just focus on education. But what we've done, which makes us different and unique, is we've identified what the child wants to be when they grow up. So I'm going to use a pilot as an example. So if we have a child that wants to be a pilot, we will actually have the sponsors be like, they will be a pilot, and we will match, you know, the current sponsor who is a pilot, match them with aspiring pilots. Does that make sense?
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So they can learn from their role model.
They're going to learn.
Directly.
They're going to actually, the sponsor has the ability now not only to be a sponsorship for funding, but a sponsor, a mentor in the process. A mentor in the process. So
tell us the website where people can go to not only learn more, but to donate and contribute to your foundation.
Sure. That website is going to be GoFundMe.com.
Mm-hmm.
GoFundMe.com/Fearless Education.
Fearless Education. And it's amazing, you know, most people don't even think that the children in other countries would have to pay for their education. We take it for granted. Everyone here who's a child gets to go to school for free if they want to.
Absolutely.
But they don't
absolutely.
in Uganda. GoFundMe.com/Fearless Education. And now let's talk about the free gift that you're going to be offering our listeners and viewers today for being a part of this program and learning to overcome their fears.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the free gift I have for the viewers is it's called my the GOV formula, and the GOV formula, they can pick this up, the GOV formula, at thefearlessmillionaire.com. So that's thefearlessmillionaire.com.
Okay.
And there they can pick up the GOV formula, which is a strategy that I created to help anyone in business, whether they're in direct sales, network marketing, they have a small business, you know, a retail shop, a salon, anything, you know, any type of business this works for. Stay-at-home moms, online marketers, it doesn't matter. The GOV formula is summarized like this. It's basically, you have to give value first, and GOV stands for gifts of value. And you have to give at least 7 things. These don't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to cost you money. Some may for some people, and others may not. So, for example, let me give you an example of something one of my GOVs is for my high-end clients that pay me anywhere upwards in, you know, up to $100,000 or $50,000. What one of my GOVs in that process for that type of client is a very, very large. I'm talking. Just imagine one of the tires on your car. Okay. Imagine one of the tires on your car. I send them a sweetbread the same size. A Portuguese sweetbread.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So family business is a Portuguese bakery, and we make these large sweetbreads, literally the size of a tire. I'm not joking.
It's unbelievable.
The depth, like, you know how a tire could be like, I don't know, 7 inches deep, right? 7 inches wide and all that stuff. So yeah, it's exactly the size of a tire, and they get this big box in the mail, and they're like, holy smokes, what is this? And because it's sweetbread, I said, listen, man, did you try it? You know, what did you think? Did you like it? They're like, yeah, it's so sweet. I always hear that. I always hear, my gosh, it's so sweet and so good. I put it in the toaster. I made French toast out of it, and I put butter on it. And I said, if you think that is sweet, wait until we work together and how sweet that's going to be.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, that's just a line I use, and we joke, and we, that's so funny. What can you do for me? That type of thing. But the reality is that that's part of one of my GOVs. Now, you need to have at least 7 of these in order to make the sale. Now, you can get a sale faster, of course. You can get maybe one in your fifth GOV, one in your third GOV. You may get that sale in that business or that client. But the reality is you need to have at least 7 GOVs lined up, ready to go. And that a GOV could also be a new piece of information. It could be a video. It could be, did you know? It could be an ebook. It could be 7 steps to how to, get debt-free, whatever it may be for your target audience. It could be a video, a link, new information, something a postcard. I've worked with realtors. Could be a postcard. Here's an example. The gift card. I know some businesses, they offer a free gift card if they take a survey. Something. You have to give something of value to your prospect in order for them to do business with you. So that's part of the GOV formula. There's more in that sheet at the fearlessmillionaire.com.
Great. It's based on the principle that people have to know, like, and trust you before they want to do business with you, and I'm sure that really helps establish trust and likability when you're giving out GOVs to people.
Absolutely.
You're giving them value.
Absolutely.
That's terrific. So in closing,
absolutely. It's a fast way to build trust.
I think these have been wonderful tips. We are coming to the conclusion of our program. I'd like to ask you, what, if we were to sum up now, what would be, you think, the most important action step for business people and any person or nonprofits in general to be aware of to overcome fears and attract the success they desire? If you had to sum up.
Well, I think the number one action step for people, entrepreneurs, business owners, people starting a nonprofit or have a nonprofit, if you're starting your business, if you're expanding your business, I think the number one important thing is to continually take action on your goals. Continually take action. Set goals that are scary. Set goals that are like beyond you. You're like, oh my gosh, set embarrassing goals. As my good friend Brian Tracy says, a BHAG goal, big, hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG. Set BHAG goals. Set them so big that they make your face turn red, and then go forward and take action on those goals. Ask yourself every day, or at least once a week, what can I do today to get one step closer to my goal?
Great. What can I do today to get one step closer to my goal? And then ultimately they can be joining you on the lakefront there, right? And Lake Wiley, North Carolina?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, my friends just pulled up here. I don't know if you can see them. They just pulled up in their little pontoon boat back there. So
I see the boats. It looks wonderful.
They're getting ready for me, so
That's
we're going to go spend the day out there.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, Nathan. It has been an absolute delight, as always, speaking with you. And I wish you all the best, and everyone listening all the best in attracting wealth and time freedom and success. And it's all, just keep moving forward. And if you want to learn more from Nathan, I recommend you go to his website and Fearless, repeat it for us, the Fearless Millionaire.com.
Fearlessmillionaire.com. Yep.
Right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Thank you again.
Thank you. You also. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.